Live from the Ball State News Center, this is NewsLink Indiana in high definition.
Welcome to NewsLink Indiana. I'm Peter Hoffman.
And I'm Mackenzie Clark. Thanks for joining us.
Now, Governor Mike Pence was in Muncie today. The Ball State Daily News was able to go and cover the event and ask Pence a few questions. We have Chris Stevens from the Ball State Daily News here to talk about the event. Now, Chris, why was the governor up here in Muncie today?
Governor Pence stopped by Longfellow Elementary School to answer kids' questions and talk a little bit about what he does as governor.
What kind of questions did the kids ask him?
They were mostly interested in what it's like to be a lawmaker, and he also made sure to tell them to follow their dreams and not let anything get in the way.
Now, with so much being made about the Syrian refugee crisis, was he able to address that at all, address his decision to not allow any Syrian refugees inside the Hoosier State?
He didn't speak about it in front of the children, but in an interview afterward, he did say that his main priority is keeping Hoosiers safe. He wants to make sure that anybody coming here from Syria is properly vetted, just to make sure everybody stays safe.
All right, Chris Stevens from the Ball State Daily News. We appreciate it.
In light of the terror attacks on Paris, Governor Pence has made it a point to no longer allow Syrian refugees to make their home here in Indiana. NewsLink's Andrew Sanders went to Ball State Political Science Department to find out about legal aspects on Pence's decision.
Indiana Governor Mike Pence, who plans to keep Syrian refugees out of the state, may not be going about it in the right way. More than half the nation's governors, including Pence, oppose the admittance of Syrian refugees into their state, but this process may not be entirely legal.
There are some real questions about the legality of this. Generally, immigration is a federal matter, and I believe that the Attorney General testified in Congress today that it's her belief that that's the case as well. So I don't think that from a legal perspective, governors in general, and Governor Pence is just one of 20 or more governors who have done this, I don't believe they have a legal right to stand on, but I also anticipate that that will be solved in the courts. This may move to the courts in the next stage.
This news comes after it was discovered that one of the terrorists in the attacks on Paris came to Europe dressed as a Syrian refugee. LawSco believes that Indiana and the U.S. as a whole bear a unique responsibility.
There are always trade-offs. I think both security and being an open society are important. There are ways of juggling those and managing risk. You can never eliminate risk, but you can manage it.
For NewsLink Indiana, I'm Andrew Sanders.
Of the 31 states who oppose allowing Syrian refugees, all but one have a Republican governor.
And Indiana Senate Democrats unveiled a bill today that will offer more protections for the LGBT community. If passed, sexual orientation and gender identity would be added to the state's civil rights law. It would bring protections against discrimination in the areas of employment, housing, and public accommodations. Exceptions would be made for churches, private universities, and other religious institutions. Wedding service businesses with fewer than 4 employees would also be made exempt if the bill passes. It is still not known if the measure will be voted on during the 2016 legislative session.
Ball State announced today it has surrendered a stolen idol that has been on display at the David Owsley Museum of Art for a decade. Federal law enforcement officials confirmed that the 1,000-year-old religious relic was looted from a temple in southern India. According to the Star Press, the university transferred the idol to the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement Homeland Security investigations. The museum purchased the artifact 10 years ago from New York City art dealer Subhash Kapoor, who donated the piece to honor David Owsley. Kapoor has been accused of being one of the world's most prolific art smugglers and temple raiders.
And serious plans for explosions forced a stadium full of people to evacuate in Hanover, Germany tonight. Police Chief Volker Klue said that authorities had, quote, concrete intelligence that someone wanted to set off an explosive device inside the stadium. Before the Netherlands-Germany soccer match, 2 tips forced officials to cancel the match about 90 minutes before kickoff. However, Regional Interior Minister Boris Pistorius said no explosives were found at the stadium. Some have speculated that this is in connection with the most recent terrorist attacks in France, and officials are not taking it lightly. French police are currently looking for a second fugitive directly involved in the Paris attacks. Surveillance footage obtained by the Associated Press indicates a team of 3 attackers. The video shows 2 gunmen inside the back of a black sedan with a 3rd individual driving the car. A Syrian passport was found with one of the Paris attackers and had multiple registrations by a person, causing officials to believe this was a trail that was intentionally laid.
A Muncie lunch lady was arrested after undercover officers caught her selling drugs on school property. NewsLink reporter Cameron Riddle is live at Northside Middle School, where police say she was serving more than what was on the menu.
Good evening. 53-year-old Sandra Howard is facing level 4 felony charges tonight after police say she was dealing narcotics right here in the school parking lot.
It happened this past Friday when undercover detectives with the Delaware County Sheriff's Department met with Howard at Northside Middle School, where she works as a substitute cafeteria worker. Detectives say Howard agreed to meet them in the parking lot to sell $40 worth of painkillers, but they say only half of the transaction happened on school grounds, the other at nearby Walmart. Howard was afraid to transfer the pills while on school property.
She then informed us that she didn't have the pills on her, that she wanted to take the $40 and that we could come back to her house that night at 3 o'clock and then we would get our product. She was afraid of the school resource officers. There's quite a few officers that work in the schools here in Delaware County, so she was afraid of being caught with the pills on school property, so she didn't have any product on her.
Detectives don't believe that Howard sold any of those pills to students here at Northside Middle School, but they say the charges she is facing are the equivalent of dealing cocaine, and she could receive additional charges for dealing on school property. Reporting on the North Side, Cameron Riddle, NewsLink, Indiana.
Thank you, Cameron. Howard is currently out on bond. We did make several attempts to speak with the Muncie school about Howard's employment status, but our calls were not returned.
More than 800,000 international students pursue the United States for their education program system. Rather, this year has been the highest for not only the country, but for Ball State as well. Paris Bouslan has the story.
This year, Ball State is welcoming international students from 66 different countries, 316 grad students, and 328 undergrad students from all over the globe. Ball State is a desired university for its ranked and recognized academic programs, bringing in more than 1,000 international students per year.
I like it because there's a lot of international students in Ball State, and when I'm here, I'm not just experiencing the culture here, but culture from all over the world. Like, I'm meeting with Chinese friends, Indian friends, and friends from other countries, and we are having we are exchanging this cultural experience in Ball State. And also I like the study abroad programs in Ball State because I participated to one in my college of Architecture and Planning. It's called Capacia, and I really enjoyed, and that was a life-changing experience for me. So, and my best friend, she came to Ball State 1 year before me, so that made me interested in Ball State, and then I applied for Ball State. Hopefully, I'll come back to finish everything, and I want to walk in graduation, so I might come back.
With the numbers rising every year from different international students coming to universities in the U.S. for education, the numbers are only going to be increasing per year. In Muncie, NewsLink, Indiana, I'm Paris Bouslan.
Ball State is a top institution in the Midwest region of the United States. The university continues to encourage students from all over the map to begin their adventure here in the United States.
Well, Peter, I don't know if you noticed, but I thought it was going to be so cold because of the dark skies, and then it wasn't that cold today.
I was okay. I was riding my bike to class. I was fine, absolutely. Michael Behrens knows far more than either of us do. Michael, what's it looking like tonight?
Well, it's going to stay pretty mild tonight. The reason it felt so warm today is the reason it's going to feel so warm tonight. Those winds are from the south, and they're going to stay pretty strong in the overnight in that 15 to 20 mile per hour range. Some of those winds actually gusting above that 20 mile per hour mark. Outside right now, things, again, still feeling pretty mild. We're at 60 degrees right now. These temperatures have actually been going up over the past couple of hours. Our low already happened a few hours ago this afternoon, right about that 4 or 5 o'clock mark. And ever since then, these strong south winds right now, south-southeast, 16 miles per hour, are definitely helping to keep things warm. Now the radar picture out there is clear right now. We did have a little bit of rainfall earlier today, but the rain is not too far off. It's back out in Illinois right now, this big line of rain. It's brought over an inch of rain to part of Illinois. It's bringing severe storms to parts of Mississippi, parts of Louisiana and Arkansas, and on the backside of it, blizzard warnings in parts of Colorado and western Kansas right now. Fortunately for us, no blizzard warnings in your future and no severe weather in the future either, but we do have our fair share of rain coming on the way. We'll track those rain chances for your Wednesday. We'll also time out much cooler weather ahead, and we do have the possibility of seeing our first snowfall of the year. We'll let you know when coming up in your full forecast.
Thanks, Michael. Find out after next break, what presidential candidate has run from the race.
And how are Ball State students spreading holiday cheer when we come back.
So I just moved in with his family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I was born and I knew how to use the litter box. Look at that. That's disgusting. Oh, poop already. You're making me nervous. Oh, okay, I can't look at this anymore. I really hope he grows out of this, for his sake.
Louisiana Governor Bobby Jindal announced tonight he is dropping out of the 2016 race for president. He says he's not ready to endorse another candidate, but plans to support the eventual Republican presidential nominee. Jindal's term as governor expires in January, and he says he will work with a think tank he started a few years ago called America Next.
An intoxicated passenger on a flight from London to Boston today tried to force open a British Airways exit door mid-flight, according to an airline spokesman. A federal official says the woman tried to open an exit door and was restrained after the incident. In all commercial flights, exit doors cannot be physically opened mid-flight as part of a safety procedure. Officials have not released the name of the passenger, but Massachusetts State Police met the flight in Boston when it landed at 1:30 p.m. this afternoon. The incident has no known connection to terrorism.
And two Muncie men have been accused of sexually assaulting a preteen boy. 24-year-old Wayne Edward Wilkerson and 20-year-old Brock O'Neill West were arrested yesterday on preliminary charges of child molestation. Delaware County Sheriff's deputies also had a search warrant for the men's mobile home. According to a written statement under oath, West allegedly admitted during an interview that both he and Wilkerson had performed sexual acts on the child. West also says they moved the items that on the search warrant because they knew police would be looking for it.
The season of giving is on its way, and some Ball State students are helping the less fortunate children stay in the holiday cheer. NewsLink Indiana's Logan Johnson is live.
Behind me is just one location where parents can come to buy gifts for every kid's wish list. But for parents with limited funds this holiday season, Student Voluntary Services is lending a hand. SBS has partnered with the Department of Child Services to launch Angel Tree. SBS advisor Andrew Brown says the goal of Angel Tree is to bring joy to kids in need.
And we try and provide children with a gift for their holiday season. The gifts could be clothing, it could be gift cards, it could be books. We partner with over about 400 organizations, students, faculty, and staff on Ball State's campus to kind of provide these children with a holiday cheer.
Jamie Maddox, a junior at Ball State, says she chose to adopt an angel because she remembers what it's like not having many gifts under the tree.
It was like that middle school era where like I was still kind of a child and like still wanted stuff, but like they couldn't provide me with what I wanted anymore.
Maddox says having a niece makes her even more grateful for Angel Tree.
She is only 2.5, so she doesn't really quite understand yet, like doesn't even know that she's getting Christmas presents, but eventually like she will, and assuming things don't change in the near future, like she won't be able to get everything that I was even able to get.
According to Brown, it is as simple as stopping by the Office of Student Life to adopt an angel and help a child in need. SBS has received a list of 200 children in need of assistance this holiday season, and they've only had 50 students volunteer to adopt an angel so far. Now that means that there's still a lot of help that's needed to make this holiday season a great one. In Muncie, Logan Johnson, NewsLink, Indiana.
Thanks, Logan. Students can stop by the Office of Student Life in the Student Center before Monday, November 30th at 5 p.m. to adopt an angel this holiday season. And coming up, what weather to expect for the rest of the week.
When will it snow? Find out next.
Of all the things you've done with your bike, donating it to Goodwill may be the most incredible of all. Your donations help fund job placement and training for people in your community, which means your stuff can be more powerful than you think. Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs.
Welcome back to NewsLink Indiana. So Peter, tell us about riding your bicycle in this warm weather.
I don't think there's any shame in it. It's a 1975 Schwinn Varsity. I don't think anybody should be judging. And on days like today, why not get out and show it off a bit?
Well, let's see if you can still do that, Michael. When is it going to snow, and when does Peter stop riding his bike?
Well, I wouldn't ride your bike tomorrow. It's going to be mild for the first part of the day, but it's going to be really windy, so you might get blown off the thing and you'll get wet if you ride it later in the afternoon. And fortunately for us, as far as that snow goes, it's going to possibly come on Saturday, but we're not expecting too much in the way of accumulation, but we'll have more on those snow chances later on. Temperatures right now across the country, though, you can see where our warm weather's coming. That south wind is pulling all of this warm air into our region, but the cold air is right behind it, and that's going to be on the way to Indiana for the weekend. Now, temperatures across the state right now, 60 Muncie, 61 Shelbyville, 56 in Indianapolis. They're the cool spot, actually, with most conditions to the south being near or at 60, and that warm weather is going to continue to be pushed into our region on those winds. Compared to last night at this time, we are up 10 degrees here in Muncie, 14 Lafayette, 14 Terre Haute, up 11 in Indianapolis. So you can definitely feel the change in the air outside tonight compared to what we had around the region last night. Now, the radar is clear out there, but as we mentioned at the top of the show, the big old band of rain, that's out in Illinois, and that's where it's going to stay for tonight, but it is eventually going to make its way in here. Now, as far as rain totals go, we could see some fairly significant rain ourselves coming up here tomorrow. For today, not too much, 0.02 inches here in Muncie, 0.2 inches in Indianapolis, and you can see already over an inch in Terre Haute and Champaign, Illinois, and they're going to see even more rain on top of that. That's why they are under the flash flooding and the flood warnings at this hour. Now, precision cast here, we see the cloud cover in place overnight. No rain for the overnight hours, at least not until the very early hours for tomorrow. If you're going out to the bus stops, you should be able to make it into the school before most of the rain gets here. The scattered showers still to the west at 8 o'clock. By the lunchtime hour, though, if you're planning on picking up a lunch outside, enjoying the warm weather, not so good. The rain showers moving through the region, the heavier rain band going out of Delaware County into parts of Randolph County at this point. So the rain showers firmly in place by the lunchtime hour. They stay that way through the afternoon. We start to clear things up by the commute home, but there's still some scattered rain showers around the region as we head into the overnight hours. By Thursday, though, things completely clear out of here. Clear skies by Thursday afternoon. Now, the temperatures here, we see them stay warm in the overnight hours of tonight. They stay warm for much of tomorrow as well, but here comes that cold air right behind that line of rain. And by Thursday morning, only 45 degrees, so you're definitely not going to be running to ride any bicycles on Thursday. Now, going back to precision cast here, clear skies continue for Thursday, but back off to our northwest. That's our next chance of rain, and maybe that chance of snow as well. The system's going to move its way through here on Saturday, and we're expecting it to start with rain, and then it's going to wrap up on the backside with the chance of that wintry mix and some snowfall as well. Now, mostly cloudy temperatures. Your overnight forecast tonight, 58 degrees. The winds from the south. For tomorrow, 64 degrees. Rain likely. Some of it heavy at times. We could see about 1/4 of an inch to 1/2 inch of rain here in Muncie. Those winds again gusting from the south in that 10 to possibly over that 20-mile-per-hour range. The 7-day forecast, though, look at those temperatures. They take a big hit. 40 is your high on Saturday. Only 34 by Sunday. That chance of seeing a wintry mix late in the day Saturday, and another chance of seeing some snow showers, maybe some flurries early in the day on Monday.
Thanks, Michael. We'll be concerned to see how that weather is next Tuesday when Ball State wraps up their football season. Up next, we've got the latest update on how the Ball State football team is faring in Athens, Ohio.
And find out how the women's volleyball team wrapped up its season. Your full sports report is after the break.
You wanted to be a teacher when you were little. But things changed. Teaching didn't seem that cool anymore. So you decided to become something else. But what would your 12-year-old self say? Amazing things are happening in teaching, so it's time to put it back on your list. Don't try to convince yourself otherwise. You had it right the first time.
And welcome back to NewsLink Indiana. I'm Ben Shern with sports. We start out sports tonight with the Ball State Cardinals volleyball team. They wrapped up their regular season this past Saturday and are now preparing for the MAC tournament. Our own Christian Sarber gives us a preview of their first game of the tournament against Buffalo.
Women's volleyball has been working hard for the MAC tourney this year. This is the postseason where the team is at 14-16 overall and where they feel they can compete at their strongest level. Amanda Raker has this to say on the postseason.
I think that we have a lot to fight for this year, and we have 6 seniors, so we know we have to put everything on the line. So, I mean, we're pretty pumped to go into this next weekend.
Shondell has this to say on Buffalo. Shondell is looking to get back to his 2013 season.
The opponent's going to be out to get you because you beat them the first time, and so I always think it's an advantage to have lost to a team during the season and play them again. Yeah. So we've learned that lesson in the past, and hopefully we'll be ready to play. I'm sure they will be as well.
In Arena, Christian Sarber, NewsLink Indiana.
The MAC volleyball tournament goes from November 19th to the 22nd at the Ohio University Convocation Center in Athens, Ohio. Well, speaking of Athens, Ohio, the Ball State football team took the field tonight against the Ohio Bobcats. The game is still in progress, with Ohio having a 28-10 lead at halftime. J.D. Sprague has led the Bobcats thus far, completing 9 of his 12 passes for 154 yards and tossing a pair of touchdowns. Sprague also added 28 yards on the ground on 8 carries. Jordan Williams leads the Cardinals, having 2 catches for 45 yards. Morgan Agee also kicked a 45-yard field goal in the first quarter, while Riley Neal ran for the only touchdown for Ball State. You can catch the rest of the game on ESPNU or online on Watch ESPN. Well, guys, in other football news, Pro Bowl safety for the Colts, Mike Adams sat out practice yesterday as their injury struggles continue. Chuck Pagano said later in the week he will comment on Adams' status for Sunday's game against the Falcons.
And they're going to need it. Texans just tied up that division last night with a big win over Cincinnati.
Absolutely.
Well, coming up, see what big announcement Charlie Sheen made today.
And check out what's coming to Ball State's campus next on Entertainment.
Entertainment, I'm Sarah Lehman. This morning, Charlie Sheen, the former star of 2.5 Men, confirmed that he is HIV positive. He admits that he has been keeping this a secret for almost 4 years and has had to pay people upwards of $10 million to keep this to themselves. Part of Sheen's goal in coming out was this to put an end to the payments he is making to people to keep them quiet. He also has said that he does not know how he got this illness. Fortunately for Sheen, there are dozens of drugs on the market to treat HIV, but there is still no cure. Sheen said that today I released myself from this prison. With all things entertainment, I'm Sarah Lehman. Back to you at the desk.
And that's all for tonight on NewsLink Indiana. Be sure to check us out tomorrow night right here on Cardinal Vision.
And don't forget to like us on Facebook and give us a follow on Twitter. Enjoy your evening.
I saw that clip.